Alright folks, buckle up because today, we're diving into some seriously controversial territory. We're talking about Esther Villar's The Manipulated Man, a book that dropped back in 1971 and set the world on fire. I mean, this thing was like throwing a grenade into a gender studies class. Villar comes out swinging, man. She's not pulling any punches. Her main thesis? That women, not men, are the ones in control, and they've got men completely duped. She's saying that all this talk about the patriarchy and male dominance is a load of crap, and that men are actually the ones being manipulated and exploited. Now I know what you're thinking. Joe, is this some kind of anti-feminist, red pill, men's rights activist stuff? And yeah, it definitely toes that line. But hold on. Before you jump to conclusions, let's crack open this book, take a deep dive into Villar's arguments, and see if there's anything worthwhile to be found in this controversial piece of work. Villar comes out swinging right from the get-go, man. She's saying that women, from a young age, are trained to view men as these walking, talking ATMs, providers, protectors, you name it. And the crazy thing is, it's not always a conscious thing. It's woven into the fabric of society. Think about it. Little girls are given dolls, playhouse, and learn to nurture. Boys, they get action figures, toy trucks, and are encouraged to be tough. Villar argues this sets the stage for a lifetime of men striving to prove their worth to women, constantly jumping through hoops to gain their approval. And what's the ultimate tool in this manipulation arsenal? Love, baby. Romantic love. Villar argues women use love like a carrot on a stick, dangling it in front of men to make them do their bidding. It's all about control, man, and she's saying that men are falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. So, we're told we live in a man's world, right? But Villar flips that script on its head. She argues that men are the ones stuck working their asses off, doing the dangerous jobs, all to keep the women in their lives comfortable. Think about it. Who's more likely to be a coal miner, a construction worker, a soldier on the front lines? It ain't women, man. Meanwhile, she argues women are often the ones controlling the finances at home, deciding how the money gets spent. They get to enjoy the fruits of men's labor while avoiding the physical toll that comes with it. And get this, society tells men to man up, be strong, suppress their emotions, but women, they're allowed to be vulnerable, emotional, expressive. Villar says this double standard just reinforces the idea that men are workhorses, there to serve and protect, while women get to be the emotional center of attention. Alright, let's talk about sex, baby. This is where Villar's argument gets really interesting and really controversial. She's saying that women hold all the cards when it comes to sex and they use it as a weapon to get what they want. Think about it. Men are practically hardwired to desire sex. It's a biological imperative. And Villar argues that women know this, and they exploit it to their advantage. They dangle the promise of intimacy like a reward, making men feel like they've won some kind of lottery just because they got a date. And what happens after sex? Villar argues that women often expect something in return. Gifts, dinners, commitments, you name it. It's like a transaction, man. And she says that marriage is the ultimate example of this, with men essentially signing a contract to trade a lifetime of labor for sex and companionship. Chapter 4. The Myth of the Oppressed Housewife. Now Villar takes aim at the idea of the oppressed housewife, the woman stuck at home chained to the stove, a prisoner in her own home. She's saying it's a load of crap. She argues that housewives are actually living a life of privilege. They don't have to deal with the stress of the working world, the daily grind. They get to set their own schedules, spend their days as they please. Now I know what you're thinking. Joe, what about the emotional labor, the childcare, the endless cooking and cleaning? And yeah, that stuff's real. But Villar argues that it's a trade-off. Women choose this life, she says, because it's easier than the alternative. They manipulate social norms to make men believe that being a housewife is a thankless, burdensome task. When in reality, she argues, it's a pretty sweet deal. Chapter 5. Feminism, a fight for equality, or a power grab. Alright, now we're getting into the real meat of Villar's argument, the stuff that really pissed people off back in the day, and continues to spark debate, her critique of feminism. She doesn't hold back, folks. She argues that feminism, despite its claims of fighting for equality, is actually all about women gaining power and advantage over men. She says feminists want to have their cake and eat it too, demanding equal treatment in the workplace while still expecting men to foot the bill, to be the providers, the protectors. Villar points to the dating game, the legal system, even social expectations as evidence that women already hold a privileged position in society. She argues that feminism ignores the struggles of men, the pressures they face, and instead focuses solely on advancing the interests of women. Chapter 6. Wake-up call, time for men to break free. So, what's the solution to all this manipulation, according to Villar? She calls for men to wake up, to stop being played for fools. She wants men to see the ways in which they're being manipulated, to recognize the power dynamics at play, and to start demanding equal treatment in their relationships. No more bowing down to pressure, no more being afraid to assert their needs and desires. Villar believes that true gender equality means stripping away the special privileges she thinks women have enjoyed for far too long. Now, whether you buy into her radical solutions or not, you gotta admit, Villar's forcing us to confront some uncomfortable truths about the games people play, the power dynamics that shape our relationships, and the very nature of gender roles in society. Outro, agree or disagree, the manipulated man sparks debate. So, there you have it, folks. Esther Villar's The Manipulated Man, a book that's equal parts thought-provoking and infuriating. Look, I'm not saying I agree with everything Villar argues. In fact, some of it's pretty out there, and it's easy to see why people get fired up about it. But love it or hate it, you gotta admit, she raises some interesting points about the complexities of gender roles, the power dynamics between men and women, and the ways in which societal expectations shape our behavior. Whether you agree or disagree with Villar's arguments, The Manipulated Man certainly provides a thought-provoking perspective on gender roles. It challenges us to examine our own biases, to question the narratives we've been fed, and to think critically about the dynamics at play in our own relationships. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into controversial topics.